Hello folks, this is Steve, AV4EL. I'm waiting for one of my computers to be imaged, and I finished my rendering for tonight for videos. So nothing in this episode is a recommendation nor is it a promotion. Standard disclaimer. Now, on hacking, I usually am talking about something I saw on Bleeping Computer, or maybe something on /news for nerds. But actually, a few minutes ago, I was looking over the news on the Greensboro television station, WFMY. I'm not promoting anything. North Carolina, Raleigh, WRAL, Greensboro, the Piedmont, WFMY. There's others, but that's the one. WFMY News 2. So I was looking here. Look at this. Zelle, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, I don't know what that is, Apple Pay. If you use any of these, the IRS may ask you to prove what the money was for. You mean they don't trust us? Well, I got down to this one. By the way, there's some Basketball Hall of Fame news on WRAL. Can you guess which team and which coach? Should be easy. Greensboro teams up with African leaders to fight cyber crimes. Now that's more in line with the kind of stuff you usually see me do
Tonight we are
a video about. Prosecutors and cybercrime experts from 10 African countries come to Greensboro, North Carolina, to learn how we handle cyber attacks. I can't think of what would be special about Greensboro. Let's read. I started to read. And when I started to read, I got an idea, and I'm going to have some fun with this. Now, the first thing I'm going to say off the top, Nigeria is famous for its cyber criminals. You know that, don't you? Emailers. They sit around all day sending emails to people to see if they can sucker them in to handing over their bank account. Greensboro is working to crack down on invisible attackers. According to the Department of Justice, I'm assuming that you mean U.S. Department of Justice, more than 3 million people in North Carolina. We have a population, a few years ago it was 10 million. It's probably more now. 3 million, let's say a quarter of our people in North Carolina were victims of internet crime in 2022. Really? I didn't know that. This is the second highest number of people impacted by breaches in a single year. Does that mean nationally, internationally, in North Carolina only? So the International Computer Hacking and Intellectual Property Network See, I look at the URL first. The International Computer Hacking and Intellectual Property Attorney Advisor will work to assist prosecutors and other justice sector officials in his/her respective region to improve their country's ability to effectively investigate, prosecute, and adjudicate intellectual property crime, cybercrime, and cyber-enabled crime, as well as utilize digital electronic evidence during his I just followed the link. Let's see what it is. International Computer Hacking, and this is new ground for me. I've never seen this page before. United States Department of Justice. International Computer Hacking and Intellectual Property I-Chip Attorney Advisor. Criminal Division, Office of Overseas Prosecutorial Development, Assistance and Training, Attorney, Abjua, Nigeria. I've never read this page before. So apparently, although this vacancy announcement expires on July 22nd, 2022, the announcement may be closed at any time if selections are made. So they're still trying to fill the position. This assignment is for a period of 14 months beginning on or about summer of 22 with a possibility. So it may be that somebody in Greensboro filled this position. And, all right, I'm guessing. And this person, whoever it was that filled the position, was stationed in, this is the first time I've ever read this. What country did I name? Oh, was it Nigeria? What's the first thing you would notice about that picture that they showed? It's the capital city of Nigeria in the middle of the country. It rises, the skyline of the city, which was built largely in the 1980s, dominated by Aso rock, an enormous monolith. Now there's a mosque, and that's what they're talking about. Wouldn't you like to look out your window and see that every day? Okay, so that's the capital city of Nigeria. You know where Nigeria is, right? West coast of Africa, southwestern part of the Horn. Right here. Right here? Okay. But I'm going to keep this map here because I think they're going to mention some other countries. So now we know a little bit of the background because I was a little puzzled. It's push, 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 isn't it? So that network is connecting with federal leaders in Greensboro to get cyber criminals behind bars. So this may be a training program for more people to fill that position and be going to Africa. I'm guessing. Everlyn Micah is a prosecutor in Kenya and is a part of the I-CHIPS study program. You need to understand the power of Google. Do you think the search engine knows who she is or he is? I shouldn't make a guess about the name because I'm not familiar with Nigerian names, male and female, personal names. So it's quoting the WFMY, LinkedIn, it's not the same spelling, there's an E on the end. But let's try an incognito window. Moy University. So it's an associate lawyer at Shapley, Barrett and Company Advocates, Kenya. It's right there, Kenya. And Moi University presumably is a major university in Kenya, I'm guessing. Is a public university in Kenya. And .ke down here will take you to Kenya, and I can see with the .ac they're following the old British system of URLs that was prevalent in the 1990s. All right. So let's just go news. That's the only mention so far as Google search is concerned. But we didn't strike out. And the reason why it's this color is because I'm reading that article now. So that person is African. Micah and 11 other judges, prosecutors, and cybercrime experts from 10 African countries came to Greensboro to learn how we handle cyber attacks. We are handling cases of the same nature. Sometimes you find yourself handling a case that started in the U.S., or someone was given a computer in my country and they committed an offense in the U.S. Now, Kenya is in what part of Africa? Central East Coast, right? Have I ever known people from Kenya? Oh, yes. Have you? In Israel, I knew a gal who was a volunteer like me, who was born and grew up in Kenya, right there, during the Mau Mau. Have I got it right? Mau Mau Rebellion. (1952 to 1960). She was immigrating to Israel. Okay, now who's this person speaking? Here's another person. Kaletso Mofsi, M-F-O-S-I, prosecuting attorney in Africa. That doesn't say where he's from. Let's see if Google search knows who he is without referring to. Okay, U.S. Embassy, Botswana. You know where Botswana is, right? You know where Botswana is, right? Right there. See it? There's South Africa. Namibia, they've changed the spelling. Zimbabwe, which used to be known as Southern Rhodesia. Have I ever known somebody from Southern Rhodesia? Yeah, I worked with somebody that was born and grew up in Southern Rhodesia. In Israel, I knew a guy who was from Southern Rhodesia. So Botswana is the country we're talking about. Excuse me, my mind strays. When I worked at NC State, there was a gal who was there to do a master's degree in the crop science department, and she had been in the Peace Corps in Lesotho, which is inside of South Africa. Have I recently met somebody from South Africa? By recently, I mean within the last 3 years. I had a medical procedure at a hospital in Greensboro by a gal who was born in South Africa but has immigrated to the United States. I'm very international. I like to ask people where they're from, especially if they have an accent. You can find out interesting things. DPP prosecutor Calypso Mfosi, one of 40 participants, receives a completion certificate from, so this is Facebook, and there she is, receives a completion certificate from William N. Kitson, presumably this person here, Acting Commissioner, Internal Revenue, BURS, and name me another person, Legal Affairs, Travis Bartlett, that's Travis right here, of the U.S. Embassy is pictured left. Okay? Can I make this picture bigger? Nope, that's the size of it. So now we actually have seen the face of the person. They look happy. And we know that's the person they're speaking of because she's the one holding the certificate. It's very important for us to know how to tackle these matters. The visit was organized by iChip attorney advisor Anand Ramaswamy. What country is he from originally, or his family? Can you guess? It's the same country as my first roommate in college. Have I ever known somebody named Anand? Yes. Has there ever been somebody named Anand who was famous from North Carolina starting when he was about 13 years old? Andtech. But it's one word. Anand Tech. He ended up getting a Bachelor of Science degree in computer science from Raleigh from North Carolina State University, and I took a C++ programming course from his father in a night school course in Raleigh. My mind wanders. You see how interconnected I am with the world? And yes, his father and mother were from India. Wait a minute. His father was from India. I'm not sure about his mother. I never met her. So let's see what this guy looks like. There's somebody in the news right now who has that same family name. Anand Ramaswamy, North Carolina State Bar, legal specialization. I recently had an opportunity to talk with this guy, a board-certified specialist practicing in Greensboro. He grew up in Pennsylvania. Let's see if they give a picture. Let's open in a new tab. Okay, so they're talking about him. It has something to do with certifications. How did you prepare for the exam? So this again kind of sounds, this is North Carolina State Bar legal specialization. And let's look at his, now this is a different person. How do I know? I'm a dynamic, determined technology leader with extensive experience in digital health, business intelligence. I doubt that that's him. Here's another one with the same name. In other words, both the family name and the personal name are extremely common. India has 1 billion people. But the next one is the guy we're talking about because It's lawyersjustia.com, North Carolina. Google photonics engineering. No, that's not the guy, but the one having to do with lawyers must be the guy we're talking about, but there's no picture, and this is all they're telling us about him, and they tell us where his office is and his telephone number. On Pitts Road, off of Shallowford Church Road, northwest of Burlington, which is east from Greensboro. We've got the right person. See how easy it is to find people with a search engine? Now, he may be American born. He intentionally chose Greensboro as the study site. I wanted them to meet our judges. Well, this is where his office is, in Burlington. It could have been Burlington, but he preferred to be in Greensboro. More cosmopolitan. I wanted them to meet our judges, prosecutors, investigators, because it is more comparable to what they do at their level in Africa when they go on later to Washington. So whoever this group of people is, this is the introductory, get them used to being here in the States, listening to American English in a conference, and then they're going to go to Washington, D.C. Actually, that's nice prep. I think that's good forward thinking. If you've never traveled internationally and ended up in a country where you don't speak their language as a first language, one of my doctors here in town in Asheboro, this is like 5 years ago. Usually it's one of the techs that takes your blood pressure and stuff like that before you see the doctor. But this time it was a gal that had just got off an airplane from Pakistan 2 weeks before. And she came to the States in order to do an exam to qualify to go for a residency program here in the United States. So what was she doing talking to me in that doctor's office? Well, my doctor knows her father back in Pakistan. And she landed here, and for about a month, she got acclimated to being in the United States and talking with Americans. She and I ended up talking for about an hour. I happen to know that she was successful in passing the exam to qualify to find a residency in the United States, and she did find a residency in the United States. And lucky us, presently she's remaining in the United States. And I do mean lucky us. She had this. Lucky the United States. Too bad, Pakistan. During this day, they visited the federal courthouse, which would be in Greensboro, see, not in Burlington, Homeland Security, and spent time at North Carolina A&T, that's a famous land-grant university for minorities in Greensboro, North Carolina A&T University Cybersecurity and Outreach Center. Now, I didn't know they had that. Let's take a look. It's got a link. Let's see where it goes to. This is the first time. Oh, I didn't know about this. In their College of Engineering. You mean there's somebody competing with NC State in Raleigh? Center of Excellence in Cyber. Oh, now it makes sense. I didn't know this. Now it makes sense. Because the WFMY, when I saw that, I'm asking myself, why Greensboro? In the back of my head, I keep going, why Greensboro? Here's the answer. The Center for Excellence in Cybersecurity Research, Education, and Outreach focuses on expanding interest and knowledge. Remember earlier on when I started, I was asking the question, why here? Brainstorming. break the problem down into smaller pieces, and eventually when you put them back together with better knowledge about them, the answer may jump out at you. So it seems like I was mind wandering, but I followed the appropriate links, and because of the introductory things that I had jumped to before, Shazam! This is the first time I've ever even heard of this. Focuses on expanding interest and knowledge about the field of cybersecurity. This is accomplished through cybersecurity research, education, and outreach collaborations internally within NC AT&T as well as externally. And this guy is the Chancellor of Research. It's an inclusive community of stakeholders distinguished by interdisciplinary and innovative approaches that translate knowledge into solutions for cybersecurity challenges. Leveraging interdisciplinary inclusive partnerships between North Carolina, AT&T, State University, and stakeholders, serving as the academic and research nexus for the development of the advanced mathematical and computational techniques, empowering students, faculty, and other members of the university community to engage in multidisciplinary thought and leadership in cybersecurity, evaluating, investigating socioeconomic practices, regulatory, and creating approaches to secure valuable assets from cyber threats. Got it. Got it. Now, like NC State, North Carolina State University, which used to be called State College, look at the name, North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University. When this was founded after the Civil War, what was it primarily directed at? Helping farmers and home economics. Do you understand the home economics? Canning food, stuff like that. I'm calling on my own high school, junior high and high school education. So let's check out and see when NCA&T was founded. We want to have the Wikipedia. That gets us to it the quickest. Former name. Remember I told you NC State was State College? Agriculture, yeah, this is a typical thing. Agricultural and Mechanical College, 1891. So I said probably founded after the Civil War. NC State was, hang on, it was one of the first land-grant universities. Let me see if I'm right, or if I'm just making it up. Wikipedia. Let's see if I'm making it up. Former names. North Carolina College of Agriculture and Mechanical Arts, 1887. Oh, so it wasn't right after the Civil War. It was right after what? What's important about 1887? Then it became the College of Agriculture and Engineering, and then it became North Carolina State University. I said State College, that's what they called it. College of Agriculture and Engineering. Before that, it was North Carolina College of Agriculture and Mechanical Arts. That name suggests that it was probably the only one at the time when it was founded. What was the period of time called when North Carolina was occupied after the Civil War? See, I'm not remembering the name. What was that? See, I said it was a public land-grant research university. Correct. Land-grant. In other words, not like Duke. Chapel Hill's a land grant, but Duke is not. The North Carolina General Assembly established North Carolina College of Agriculture and Mechanical Arts, now NC State, on March 7, 1887, originally as a land-grant college. A land-grant college is an institution of higher education in the United States designated by a state to receive the benefits of the Morrill Acts of 1862 and 1890. 1862 is during the Civil War. Civil War started in 1861. Where I went to college for my Bachelor of Science degree, there was a Morrill Hall named for the person that this act is named. I know I'm straying, but I'm doing. The Morrill Land Grant Acts of the United States statutes, meaning federal, that allowed for the creation of land grant colleges in U.S. states using the proceeds of sales of federally owned land, often obtained from indigenous tribes through treaty, cession, or seizure, In the Morrill Act of 1890, the Agricultural College Act of 1890, Agricultural College. Why would they do that? Why would they do that? And there's Justin Smith Morrill. For 20 years prior to the first introduction of the bill in 1857, there was a political movement calling for the creation of agricultural colleges. The movement was led by Professor of Illinois. Why did they do that? Because they wanted to become more efficient at farming. And why was that important? I've covered this before. Now, and Morrill was from Vermont. With the introduction and the expansion of the railroads, if you could produce more on your land beyond what you and your local townspeople needed to live through the year, you could sell it for money. And the more you made, the more money you could make. The more you could grow, produce, properly handled, packaged, processed. You know the old mills project down there in Franklinville and Cedar Falls about textiles? It's the same deal, folks. What do you use the cotton for that you grow here in North Carolina? And why would you do it there? The answer is you could take it by road, but the railroads would take it to the markets. You didn't have to be living in New York to do the textiles. You could do them in rural North Carolina and sell them in New York because you could get them there not by wagon train, but by trains. Now, why am I going through this? You think I'm way off the topic. No, I'm not. I just talked about improving the efficiency of American agriculture for the benefit of farmers even out here. And it was federal involvement, legislation, programs, colleges, specializing in agricultural and mechanical arts, how to fix your agricultural machinery, internal combustion engines, but steam before that. Oh, but today what's important? Computers and cybersecurity. And where are they doing it? At a land-grant university in, among other places, Greensboro. It's the same story, it's just a different market and technology. It's the same story. That's right. That's why I went off on this. So these were ag colleges at one time, but now they can serve a different purpose. But it is basically the same thing. I didn't know about this. I think that's great. I'll keep it in mind. So, I learned about it because of this article on WFMY. And here's a picture of the people who And this is on Twitter. And let's see if we can open the image in a new tab. There's a nice picture. And there's a whole bunch of people in there smiling. And at least one person is dressing the way he would in Africa. The fellow in the gold, it looks nice. Welcome to America. And this guy Ramaswamy from Burlington, who's one of the organizers, is to stop hackers from taking millions, is going to take a collaboration between countries. They misspelled the word. It says between counties, but I think they mean countries. We are all facing it, and if we could all fight it together, we contain and limit it, he said. The team of 12 in the picture will head to the FBI headquarters in Washington, D.C. Wednesday to learn their tactics, what the FBI tactics are. And does antivirus software fight for whatever reason in? You can watch that one. Okay? Just put WFMY in and go looking in their news archive if you'd like to follow up on this article. And the picture we showed involves people from, according to this, 10 African countries, and they're headed to Washington, D.C. next. I think it's interesting. And I learned something about A&T that I didn't know. I'm going to keep it in mind because I'm interested in hacking. Steve, AB4EL, interested in hacking, just letting his mind wander and doing a little bit of brainstorming and finally seeing the big picture that was nearby but didn't know it was there, saying see you in 73.